Cultural competence. This is a life goal, and we are on our way. Culturally curious, we wanted to learn about a self-established community on the UNC Chapel Hill campus unfamiliar to our group as a whole. It was a collective decision to find a group we felt vulnerable towards in order to keep an open mind and absorb all that we learned. Soon after, we decided to educate ourselves about the American Indian Center. UNC's American Indian Center, founded in 2006, sought to incorporate North Carolina's American Indian culture into the life of the university. For many in the student body, the center is a resource for cultural education, but for UNC's American Indian population, the center is a crucial step towards visibility, a validation of their importance, and above all, a home away from home. To start, we wanted to grasp a better idea of what the center is and how it works with its staff and student body. So, we met with
Amy Locklear, a Carolina alumnus and the director of the American Indian Center.
Dean Collins, faculty advisor for Native student organizations affiliated with the American Indian Center.
Elena Hunt, member of the Carolina Indian Circle and of Alpha Pi Omega, the Native American sorority at UNC. I identify myself as Native American and I'm part of the Lumbee tribe.
I identify as an enrolled citizen of the Lumbee tribe of North Carolina and as a descendant of the Coharie tribe.
I identify myself as Marcus Collins, Assistant Dean, Student Academic Counseling Office, Director of Summer Bridge. I identify myself in a professional role, but then there are times when I will actually identify myself as Marcus Collins, not only an employee of UNC Chapel Hill, but also Lumbee. I'm from Robertson County. North Carolina is my home. That's my people. That's my community.
Built upon the shared lived experiences of UNC's Native American community, the American Indian Center is comprised of its members' rich blend of backgrounds and identities. Members of the center acknowledge that being Native American comes with both privilege and penalties. Amy Locklear says that her privilege as a Native American is the sense of definition and self-awareness associated with her identity.
I've always had a strong understanding of who I am and where I come from for generations, so I've never had an issue of questioning identity or what it means to be a Native person or a Native woman or now a Native mother. That's never been something I've had to spend time on contemplating.
I think the privilege that I have is being an advocate for American Indian issues in that community. I'm also privileged to be a part of a very vibrant community with a lot of rich history in this country.
Elena Hunt also found privilege in her opportunity to share her culture with others who are not Native American.
Once people do learn that we're Native American, they are pretty interested and you get a chance to tell them about your culture and what's involved with that.
It is this prospect of sharing information about Native American culture which the American Indian Center embraces, especially as a means of combating the stereotypes and misinformation about Native Americans, which comprise the main penalty American Indian Center members associate with their heritage.
When talking about privilege, I feel torn. Do we really have a lot of privilege as we consider the history of discrimination and suppression against Native Americans in this country? We have definitely made progress, but at the same time, I kind of question, do we really have a privilege? However, as an American Indian, I truly embrace who I am, and I'm proud of that.
My biggest penalty is that people are often kind of ignorant in a way. Generally, people might not mean to say something, but sometimes they'll say a comment about Native Americans, and they may not realize that it's harmful.
One thing I've had to face is people needing to have a box to put people in to relate to them. And that's hard because having a box for people helps them attach stereotypes or presumptions about what a particular race or ethnicity is. And then when somebody doesn't necessarily fit into that space, it makes them unsure of how to interact with you.
Each member came to the same conclusion about penalties. They all felt as if they were stereotypes they had to overcome in one way or another. The stereotypes they mentioned revolved mainly around where American Indians are located throughout the U.S. and how they live. Many people believe that most American Indians live out west and fail to acknowledge the diverse tribes in North Carolina to which many Native Americans on campus belong. This stereotype is a result of popular media which depicts a specific image of Native American culture.
Native Americans are romanticized, and when people think about American Indians, they think about teepees and reservations and high cheekbones, and you're supposed to have long, dark, flowing hair. There's this stereotype that you should look a certain way. That is something we always struggle to overcome in expressing who we are. We know who we are, but we feel like sometimes we have to defend that to other people.
The American Indian Center exists to defend the culture and presence of North Carolina's Native American community on campus. In doing so, the center also provides a home away from home for the students and faculty who belong to it.
My identity deals a lot with my home. Getting to go home and be a part of my tribe and be involved in my tribe, that's a lot of what being Native American means to me. As I've gotten involved with more Native American organizations on campus, it's like I have gained more family members. I have my family and I have my tribe, so it's a small, intimate feeling.
The AIC combats stereotypes about Native Americans through various initiatives that are meant to educate the Carolina community about Native American tribes in North Carolina. One notable program is the Elder in Residence Program, or EIR. The center brings in experts from different tribes throughout North Carolina and hosts them for a week on campus each spring. The Elder in Residence visits classes and shares knowledge about Indigenous people and raises awareness about Native culture. This program helps establish and advance the university's relationship with Native communities. Additionally, the Carolina Indian Circle, a part of the American Indian Center, hosts an annual powwow where tribes from all over the country come to UNC's campus to express their cultures through food, dance, and song. This event is open to the public and anyone, Native or non-Native, is welcome. This event is an important opportunity for all Native American tribes to express their cultures and traditions with anyone willing to attend. By educating the campus community, these initiatives provide visibility for the center and actively combat the stereotypes plaguing the Native American identity. The American Indian Center provides a space for Native American students and faculty on campus to interact and share in their culture. The center also offers programs that educate the wider UNC community about Native American presence in North Carolina and the unique cultures of these tribes. Through these programs, the center combats stereotypes and helps Native Americans gain visibility as a cultural group on campus. Above all, the center embodies a community of individuals who take pride in their culture.